we back up again? I think we are. Absolutely no idea what happened there. It just seemed to drop out. So hopefully now it won't drop out again. Hey Finley, how you doing? Good to see you. You working on anything interesting this evening? Now, in case you weren't around when the stream cut off moments ago, the reasons I can't quite work out, because everything seems to be working okay. I'm just remixing the colour that I've been using for a little bit this afternoon, and that was to work on these front bits here that you can see. Hey Adam, good to see you, man. So I'm just making up the final highlight colour once again for these beige parts, so that I can get cracking with that and hopefully try and get this fella finished, unlikely as that is. But my wet palette, as you can see here, this is the colour that I was using for the highlight. It's gone all funky, and this part is where something, I'm not entirely sure what, it's gone really liquidy. I poured way too much water underneath that greaseproof paper early on. Okay, thank you. You okay? I'm just looking after my cousin and working on my Thunderwolves. Oh, nice. They are great, the Thunderwolves. I used to have 6 Thunderwolves, and then that Wolf Lord with the kind of, is it an axe or something like that, made from a dragon scale or something like that, and he's got like a, or a dragon tooth, and he's got like that big cape with dragon scales on. I tend to only use Citadel and Army Painter. Yeah, I'll show you what I'm using at the moment. I have, let's have a look. Yeah, get off. Okay, so at the moment I've got this one, which I picked up about 10 years ago, and I don't know what brand it is, whether that's the make or what. I just picked it up at Games Expo many moons ago, but the one I tend to use instead of that is the Army Painter Wargaming Insane Detail brush. I have a really old brush which I use for like dry brushing and stuff like that, so you can see it's a Citadel medium layer, and this is what a medium layer brush usually looks like. So this is like a really old one that I just use for, as I say, mixing paints or doing dry brushing or base coating, just because you've got that kind of, it doesn't really matter if the bristles get bent, you can stab it into all the little nooks and crannies. And then I also have 2 small layer brushes too, which are in much the same state. I actually need to get a new one and use these as old ones too, because the left hand one is the one that's in better nick, and you can see that that doesn't really have a point anymore. So I tend to use like Citadel and Army Painter brushes. Not of course to change at the moment, but people keep recommending me brushes, and I've got some of those synthetic ones up there. In fact, should I try synthetic brushes tonight? That is the question. Hey Jono, good to see you, man. Hey there, Slotter. I don't think there's much in it between Army Painter and the Citadel brushes, to be honest. They both serve me well, like, so I can't complain about how well one's done over the other. They both seem to be fine. Is everyone getting sound clearly tonight? Is there any crackling or any interference or anything like that? Try and lift this up and out the way a little bit so you're not getting dazzled by that. Maybe not. That many things hanging above this desk. That's a bit better. Cheers, Jono. Thank you. Hey, Nathaniel. Good to see you. There's definitely some Ricard flesh on this desk somewhere because I've just been using it. There we go. Nice man, thank you very much. Yeah, I like Jono's channel. Does some great battle reports there. Because I don't play very often, I tend to go to Jono's channel and watch them and play games vicariously through Jono. Hey there, Thorsten. Oh yeah, I've got bags and bags of stuff. I'll take some photos for you a bit later on, Slaughter, because I've got quite a few different parts that you can use for 40k, 30k, whatever you need. And if it's loyalist ones that you want, I have got bags of loyalist ones. Which it pains me to say, I think I've got a basing piece off something, I can't even remember what it was, but it's a 30k Space Wolf in Mark 2 or 3 armour. He's just lying on the deck looking a bit not well. Yeah, I'll get you an invite now, Nathaniel. Taking me a while to find what I'm actually meant to be doing. Here we go. Discord invitation. I've just posted the Discord invitation, so that should pop up in a moment. There we go. Well, you've got me salivating. Hopefully it'll look good on the base. Yeah, not entirely sure where it is. Somewhere, my monitor's in front of all my drawers with the bits in. But I'll dig it out and I'll send you a picture of it later. We've got tons and tons of bits that you can use. Unfortunately, the body it's like it's cut off part way through. So you might have like a full 3D torso. It's like flat, so you can put it on the base. So you got like the sort of like from the top of the chest armor down to, or sorry, from the head down to the bottom of the chest armor, sort of at an angle, going kind of like, if that's your base, sort of goes from the head down like that, like in a kind of angle, and it's got his battered and broken body there. Sorry, Jono. Beat me to it. But right now, I do a paint job for my stepfather, painting Matchbox motorcycle. Oh, cool. What kind of motorcycle is it? Hey, Opponent Theory, how's things? Good to see you. I'll have to try and link up all you people at the end of the stream in the little blurb box beneath. There's quite a few cool hobbyists here. What I'll do is I'll take photos of my bits boxes, and then you can just point out bits that you're after. But I'll send you that Space Wolf one, because I don't think I could put a dead Space Wolf on anything I've got, unfortunately, without feeling a bit sad as I paint up my actual Space Wolves. So has everyone managed to survive the storms we've had? Obviously you've survived, but hopefully nothing too bad has happened where you live. Might go a bit bad on it. Well, I'm sure I'll be able to fit it all into a box like so. See which bits you need, which bits you want. Trying to work out whether that's as light as it should be. A little bit too light with that. Wolf said, "I call them berserkers." Why you? '50s theme from the '80s. As long as it's fun to paint, that's the main one, Thorsten. Wolf heads on, you call them berserkers. Poor old Space Wolves. Doing well, Rob. Working on an Infinity commission at the moment, so lots of edge highlighting. Was that the you posted a picture a few days ago of, or was it yesterday or today? I remember seeing a picture of some Infinity ones as I was scrolling through. Popped on for about 2 minutes looking for something, and then spotted that as I was going through. And there was an Infinity picture with loads of really, really, really nicely painted miniatures on it. Collected balls and instantly regretted it. Find edge highlighting to be one of the most satisfying parts. Oh, it is. For me, it's one of the most satisfying parts, because you know that once you're done with that, you're pretty much done with the miniature and you can move on to a new one. I'm not sure if you've seen me painting this one before. If you've been on any of the other streams, you probably have done, because I've been painting it for ages and then didn't stream for a while and didn't paint it for a while. And the tournament is this coming Sunday, I think it is. I thought it was on a Saturday, but it's this coming Sunday from what I know. And I've still not finished any of my stuff. So tonight I'm going to be hopefully finishing this guy. I'm working on this guy, which is another one with the Jurassic Park themed paint scheme on the Squig Hog. So you have the T-Rex, changed a little bit because it doesn't have the little V shapes on the back here. I may put them on, I may not. I might just paint these bits in the same colour as the skin here. and then paint this one back up again. Hey Bjorn, good to see you, man. It always amazes me if you're on the Brush and Bolt Gun Discord, the Slaughter Otter seems to be awake forever. I mean, I used to survive on not a lot of sleep myself, and even I'm impressed with the amount of time that you all seem to be on there. It's incredible. After me long COVID instance or whatnot, I now can't do lack of sleep anymore, which is a pain. Right, let's start working on that green. Now, which green did I use? I think it was Deathcore Drab, which is around here somewhere. So you can tell I'm well prepared tonight. I've literally got all the paints that I've used in the past week or two spread out in front of me. Yeah, that's great. So bear with me 1 second. There it is. So I'm using this one. This is what is gone onto that green on its noggin and on its back. And now I need something to lighten that up, so maybe mix a bit of moot green with it, or find a green which is lighter than it, but the same kind of greens, if you know what I mean. I think that one might do it. Let's have a try. We'll try some wire flesh and see whether that looks good or whether I'm going to make a mess of this skin. Need to wait 10 minutes before I can post something on Discord. I didn't actually know that that was a thing. Well, I presume that's one of the automatic security things there. Nathaniel, it does have a few built in. What's your least favourite colour to work with and why is it your real yellow? Okay, so I did start doing, hey Jared, good to see you, man. I did start doing Lamenters, and if I get these guys out, look how lovely that yellow is, and that is Avalanche Sunset. That is also followed by Uriel Yellow, some Flash Gits, and I think it's even got a little bit of Dawn Yellow for the edge highlights. And I was really pleased with how these turned out. So I did my 3 snipers, and I did a librarian, and I did I think a lieutenant, and then I started painting a squad of intercessors, and I got about 30% of the way through them and realised that I don't like painting yellow. And it was just because it's not too bad when you paint a few miniatures, but then when you start painting loads and loads of them, you're trying to build up those yellows to cover the previous layers of yellow or any overshoots that you've done with black and things like that. So as you can tell with this guy a little bit, I have resprayed the yellow with red, and these are all just going to become Knights of the Chalice because red's a lovely colour to paint. So yeah, yellow is my least favourite colour to paint, but I still do little bits of it. What else we got? Found a motorcycle, Honda Aura from 1982. Oh, nice. Ready to post photos of our paintwork. Yeah, of course, Finley, we've got parts for works in progress or finished miniatures in there, so you can lash photos on there. We can have a look at them. Ice yellow, which is I don't know, ice yellow. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, that looks similar to your real yellow. Anything like that, Nathaniel? Any kind of yellow. That's a lamenter and nothing bad happened to him. Heresy. Well, you could say nothing happened to him. The rest of his company got changed to the chalice because, oh, I don't like the yellow. Bonus 3, hurry on the next job. The stuff I post to Instagram is already with the clients, and yes, edge highlighting is my favourite thing too. Just joking about the hard life I have. Opponent Theory does full-time commission painting, I think it is, and is absolutely stunning. So if you go onto Instagram, look up Opponent Theory, because some of the paint work you'll see there is absolutely incredible. Hey Jared, that's good to see you on here as well as the Discord as well. It's nice to see people popping up and chatting in the Discord too. Blood Angels for the win. Any Blood Angels success is good. I've actually got for this guy, I don't think Stu's on at the moment. If he is, he'll be a bit gutted. On the base of this fellow, you've probably heard me talking about doing bases, sort of showing stuff that I've got other people's chapters and armies on. So this guy wants a green stuff, some insides poking from his inside, and this head from one of, I think it's a Gene Stealer or something like that. It's got all the giblety bits hanging out the underside of the helmet. He's going to be lying on there with a few other little bits going on. And today Stu was kind enough to tell me the company that he uses for his Blood Angels, so that is going to be one of Stu's ones. Is that using an airbrush, Nathaniel? My pal Dave, a game with quite a bit, he swears by the airbrush, and the colour scheme that I was using on my Lamenters was actually a similar kind of yellow to he used on his Orc Blood Bowl team. And when I started painting it, he said it was crazy to try and paint it by brush, and it turns out it was crazy to paint it by brush, and it ended up that I just didn't like painting the yellow after all. So if that's with airbrush, then it probably would be a lot easier to do the yellow. I like the colours that it came up with, the sort of the orange shading on it, because the orange blends into the Avalanche Sunset quite well, and you can get that kind of nice shade going on around it, which I'm quite pleased with. You get the nice highlights and things like that, and the orange, if you're using Fugan orange, you can do that quite lightly to get quite a nice thin shade or a lighter shade of it, or you can use it quite a lot of it into those little recesses and darken that up. So as I say, quite pleased with how they turned out, really pleased with the yellow, the shade and whatnot, really pleased with the cape, but unfortunately I just couldn't face painting more than about 6 people yellow. Actually did Lamenter's kill team based on your tutorials. Will on peas. Exactly. I'm glad the tutorial was useful for you, but I 100% agree that it is just, it's not a colour for me to paint now. If I miss anything anyone's said, then please do sing out or just repeat it for us, because sometimes it does scroll up a little bit quick for me to catch up on. Yeah, I use contrast paints as well, Finley. Some of them are incredible. If I have to go for my favourite 3 or favourite 4, let's have a look what we've got here. These two I swear by for doing different leathers. This one does a really nice kind of leather like that colour. You can then build up the highlights and stuff. The Wildwood gives you a nice leather like that colour, just there, so like a darker shade. If you do one shade you get it like that. If you do one layer of Wildwood you get it like that. Slow mode, oh dear. Is this in the settings just at the top there, is it? Because that there and the brown of this guy's boots is using the same base coat, which is the Baneblade brown. So that's two nice leather colours you can get with Baneblade brown as a base. Black Templar, swear by using that for the black bits on my Necrons because it's so much easier to paint that on in a couple of seconds rather than using black paint. We've got, what else have we got? I'm not sure if it's that one or that one. I've been using one of them to do some shading on orcs just to try it out and see what it looks like. This one you can use to do some kind of thin bluish kind of stuff on power weapons. But yeah, the contrast paints are ace. Contrast paints are okay using them from Angel Sanguine. I've just got a window up here showing the stream, which is completely different to what I'm used to. The wonders of modern technology. That's okay. Is it the Apothecary White? That's the other one. That's the other one that I swear by. It's absolutely amazing. Not convinced with this green over the top of the Deathcore Drab at all. I wonder if we've got another one we can use. No, we'll roll with it. We can always shade it later on if it looks too weird. Probably could have missed out the Deathcore Drab altogether, to be honest. I might just paint over it all. See how it looks with the Deathcore Drab completely gone. It looks a little bit better. So has everyone had a good weekend so far? Hang on, it's not the weekend, is it? It's Monday. I've been off today, so completely lost track. Did everyone have a good weekend? Cheers, Bjorn. Nice to see you. I'll catch you during the week, I am sure. Bjorn does streaming over on Twitch there as Wrath and Ruin, so if ever you're looking for something to watch and you're on Twitch, check out Wrath and Ruin, give him a follow. And sometimes I will be over there chilling while he's doing his painting. The silicon grey, I get that, it is a nice colour. That I haven't actually used it instead of Nuln Oil, but I shall give that a try. By the way, yellow paint scheme can be achieved by airbrush, more controlled, or spray can. But totally the yellow paint scheme that my pal Dave did, that's over on the Brush and Bolt Gun website, and has got his Blood Bowl teams, or Blood Bowl team, who are in bright yellow, which is the same kind of yellow used for my Lamenters. Not quite the same pattern or the same mixes and stuff like that, because I was brush painting, but my ones were based on his Blood Bowl team, which are absolutely stunning and really, really vibrant colour. Basil Grey. It's funny, Nathaniel, we were talking to one of my pals who I play or a game with on Saturday nights or sometimes Sundays, and he's over in Dusseldorf, and we were talking to him about different things last night, and I think he just sniped someone in the head, and we were talking about Head and Shoulders then for some reason, and we asked him what it was called in Germany just to see if it was called something different. Quite disappointed to find out that it was actually just called Head and Shoulders, because it's more of a brand name than the actual parts. It would be Kopf and Shoulder or something like that. Schuldat, I can't remember what he said. But yeah, quite disappointed that it wasn't called something like that rather than just Head and Shoulders. Whereabouts are you in Germany? Oh, good to see you got onto the Discord, Finley. Excellent stuff. Welcome aboard. It's nice to be able to chat to people on the Discord, as well as makes a change from just the comment sections or on here. So it is nice to see people on the Discord. No worries, cheers for dropping in, Jared. Good to see you. Hope the rest of your week goes well. Still unpacking, Jono. Oh man. Have you got your internet set up, Jono? Are you working on mobile at the mo? Weekend was rainy. Yeah, pal Sledge said the weather over there has been terrible. They closed all the schools and stuff near where he's living in Dusseldorf because it was that bad. You know, when we were gaming last night, he said the weather was terrible outside. Cheers, Oggy's Miniatures. Welcome to the stream. If you see how many streams it's taken me to paint this fella, you'll understand why I've not really got a painted army at the moment. I think the Orcs and the Sons of Horus are probably the most painted. The Orcs are a long way off finished, and the Sons of Horus have got about 11 guys left, which have been like that for about 2 years, and I think if I actually finish them, it might cause the world to end or something like that. So there's still just those few left unpainted for the greater good. Schulte, there we go. Cop from Schulte. Schulte? Schulte? No worries, Jono. Always good to see you no matter how long you're on for. That's what happened to me, Findlay. I bought so many Orcs when I first started collecting them, because I was working 2 jobs at the time, so I had a little bit better income than what I have now, and I bought so much stuff because it was a lot cheaper back then as well. I had like 3 trucks and 2 battle wagons, picked up one of the planes, I've got a stomper, and the amount of stuff which isn't painted. I've got some of my battle wagons painted, I've got some of the about 40 or 50 boys painted. I've got a truck that's done as an anti-aircraft gun because I got the little extra bits from Forge World donkeys ago. Some of me got the Mega Dread as well. But there's so many left to go. I get that, Nathaniel. Totally get that. I'm with the dog. It's whether I was meant to be going to the museum with my daughter today, but it was just so bad to begin with. We had plans for this afternoon, so we were going to go in the morning. It was just the weather was horrible this morning, absolutely horrible. It seems to have calmed down a lot since then. But I totally did what your dog did. Woke up, had a look out and was like, nah, now we'll go another day, so aim for another day. Thank you very much. I speak a very small amount of German, and I mean a very small amount. Armies, Orcs are the biggest, and I'm the same, too many Orcs. Moggies, will you do a tutorial for this squig? Not for this one, no. I think if only because it's taken me so long to paint, and I'm sort of like trying out a few little different things, but I have loads of the Squig Hog boys, and they're all, basically all these squigs are getting painted up in the style of dinosaurs from Jurassic Park. So this is like the T-Rex. Then we have the ones that bash their heads together, the dinosaurs that bash their heads together. And we've got, where's the other guy? This one is going to end up looking like one of the Raptors, or the colour scheme of the Raptors I should say, not actually looking like a Raptor. But I've got enough to do the squad that I need for Sunday's tournament, and then I think there's going to be one knob on the Squig Hog left. Possibly not this fella because I've started painting him, but I've got two unbuilt fellas as well, so we'll be doing Squig Hog boys at some point. So I can do one with this paint scheme with the same greens and all the markings and stuff like that, because I'm really quite pleased with how it's turning out so far. The good days when things were cheaper. Exactly, Finley, exactly. You know, when I first started collecting years and years and years ago, they had like that box of 30 beige beakies for a 10 quid, £10. And that to me was loads of money back then, because I got like £4 pocket money, so I saved up. I had enough for my train fare into town, the box, and then like a paint or something like that. I only had like probably about 10-15 paints, something like that. So I had like black, white, a metallic, a yellow, a red, a blue, that kind of thing, which is why on a lot of videos you'll see me mixing white with colours to lighten them, because that's just what I've always done. I'm trying to break out the habit of that a little bit, to use some different colours. But if ever you're stuck and you've not got too many paints, just adding white as a highlight is an ideal way to do it, because, well, it's what I've always done, to be fair. Oh nice, have you got the one with the, sorry, this is for Oggies. Is that the starter box with the Dreadnought and the War Boss in Mega Armour on all those ones? Is it Squad of Boys and some Deathcopters too? If so, I love that box. I got it just for that War Boss, because I built a War Boss in Mega Armour using the old Gazgul one. And when I saw that one, I thought he looked so nice that I just could not resist. Could not resist getting that box just for the Orc War Boss. But obviously the Deathcopters are very handy. The boys are needed. Let's have a look. Nice. I think I've got the fellas from that as well. Orcs, you just can't beat Orcs. They're so good. So much fun to model and paint as well. That's why loads of mine have stripy pants and pants with hearts on, or little patterns and stuff like that. Just enjoy making them look a little bit ludicrous. Yeah, getting that nice dread in that box. And then the Pain Boy as well. I've painted him up for a video a while ago. It's such a cracking model. That I really like that Pain Boy. He's got like big chopper blades for his fingers and syringes and stuff like that. I like that. king. I have a backstory for mine as well. The war boss, and he's got sort of like two lieutenants. One is a Big Mech. He's the guy who carries around the shock attack gun. So built a battle wagon, which is the Big Mech's battle wagon. It's got like a little workbench in the back, which is made from like an old Hero Quest door, and then some really bad attempts at green stuffing to make a little cup and a little bit of paper. It's got plans to do stuff with, and it's got like a part of a bike hanging from the back of the battle wagon. And then the other lieutenant is a commando who's called Arnie, like ah, and then knee as in your knee joint. And I've got loads of commandos. So it was made up when the Kill Team box came out with all those new commandos in, because the miniatures are really, really cool. Tau Crisis battlesuits. You know, I've not actually ever painted anything Tau, but I may have to give it a try, because they're another one that I've always wanted to collect. I bought some battlesuits years ago. I bought a couple of packs of Fire Warriors, and they just sat in the drawer for years because I was doing Space Wolves at the time, and I just never ever got to finish them, so I ended up passing on to my nephew, but he might have some. Got 2 Space Marine Megabox Army sets. Oh wow, that's a lot for the 16 minis. Yeah, the Mega Army boxes years ago were amazing. I'll see if my nephew needs any of his Tau painting up, because if he does, I might be able to nick some of them to paint up just for videos and then pass them back once they're done. So I'll check with him. If so. What's everyone think of the new Eldar? You've been impressed by what you've seen so far? I used to have an army of them, or my brother used to have an army of them, I should say, in 2nd edition, and then passed them on to me when he stopped playing. And I passed them on to my pal Newt years later. And they're always one of those armies that I've always wanted to get, but I think because the miniatures haven't really changed much since they changed them from the metal ones, like the metal Harlequins and stuff like that. There's a few that I've wanted to paint, but some of these new ones are absolutely stunning. There will be an avatar tutorial at some point in the future when they launch that. I'll try and get my hands on a copy of that, start painting it. Chaos Space Marine upgrade bits. Is that like a little plastic kit of just upgrade stuff for the new CSM, is it? New Chaos Space Marines? Oh yeah. Yeah, the new Chaos Space Marines are stunning. I've got... Where is he? Got this guy to paint up at some point. He's on the desk ready to go, but I've not started him yet. But what a pain he was to glue all these things in. These bits, I didn't enjoy these at all. Or that one. For some reason I couldn't get that one to stay in for ages and ages. It just kept falling out. Or I'd put it in, it'd be pointing the wrong way, and then I couldn't get it to go the right way. But wow. Frustrating. Oh, nice. Kill team update with a fancy sprue. I saw the sort of ad for the new kill team with the chaos stuff in before my email, but I haven't had a chance to proper look at it. I just saw there's lots of little bits in it. Is that just to update and upgrade the new, sort of like the new marine kits themselves, the new Chaos Space Marine kits that were released the other year, is it? Models are cool, but the prices, yeah, it is very, very expensive in it, Nathaniel. It's one of those things that every now and again I'll bite the bullet and pick something up, like one of the new sets or the boxes. I was lucky enough to go halves with my pal Alice, and that Eldritch Omens. But even that worked out as it was £50 for, or for the parts that I wanted from it anyway. £50 for the, can't remember what for, called the Chaos Tech Marine fellas that have just been waving about there, for him and was it 5 Chosen and that big thing. So it's not too bad when you think of the big thing in there as well, but it is 7 models for 50 quid. I was saying that, you think back to the Terminators years ago when I first started, they were £2.50 for 2, which is pretty cheap. I suppose that was in sometime in maybe the early 90s or the late 80s. But then when they brought out the metal ones, at some point they were 25 quid for 5. So I suppose it's not much more expensive than that, and they're a little bit nicer looking. I think the new ones definitely nicer looking, but it's quite a big chunk. Oh sweet, separate sprue. That's nice, that. Thanks for the info there, Slotter. WTF, paint my Chaos Space Marines after your tutorial. Ah, nice to hear. Is that the Greater Possessed? Not the Greater Possessed, the Master of Possession I can see on your little icon there. Straining my old eyes. Look at my avatar, okay, that's the one, yeah, made after your tutorial. Oh, sweet. I'm glad it helped. I think that's one of my favourite miniatures from the sort of like when they released all the Chaos Space Marine stuff. I do think that was one of my favourite ones. Just all the fire and the flames and the different aspects to it. It's a really, really great looking miniature. Ah, Chilwell. Yeah, that's just down the road from where I grew up. That was I grew up in Hunts Cross. If you keep going along the road that I used to live on and keep going and keep going and keep going, it leads straight to Chilwell, pretty much. I think you have to make one right turn and go over one roundabout and you get to Chilwell. Like, Liverpool's such a small place, it's scary sometimes. Well, it's not small, but everyone knows everyone for some reason. That's nothing to be sad about. There's loads of great places to be from. Funny Bjorn, who was on a moment ago, he's from the other end of the 62 from me. So he's from Manchester, so there's always plenty of little bits of banter going on between from Manchester and from Liverpool. It's always the same with people in our regiment. So we had a squadron from Manchester and squadrons from Liverpool, so there's always a bit of ribbon going on either direction. Let's go and have a look. I think a couple of people have posted up on the Discord. If you're not on the Discord as well, by the way, no, didn't want to open that window. If you're not on the Discord and you'd like to be, I'm not from Chilwell as well. Yes, I've subscribed to Imperium magazine, yeah. Started getting all the bits. The Adeptus Mechanicus stuff was the last stuff that got delivered. Sprayed them silver ready to paint, but I haven't actually painted any of them yet. Oh, that's a cool little bike, that. That's awesome. Do you know what, from that first picture, I thought it was really, really big, and then I realised it sat in the palm of your hand. Oh, that's really, really great model, that. Top stuff. I'll comment in a little thing in a bit, like, once the stream's finished, so I'm not ignoring anyone. But if you are on the Discord, some great little pictures of that bike, and that's really, really cool. I did, only in the reserves, I suppose. They were the TA at the time. So sort of like I do my normal job and then train of a weekend, sometimes during the weeks, get sent off to interesting places. Yeah, I did for 15 years, alongside my regular job, and then did 2 tours during that time. Just give me one moment, I've got to let the cat out the loft. I'll be 2 secs. Cat was waiting to get out the door. Like to hear a crude 30k joke. Is it safe? Is it family friendly? If it's family friendly, crack on. No worries, good to see you, WTF. Have a good night's sleep and I hope work's painless for you tomorrow. I was in Iraq in 2003 and I was deployed to Cyprus with the United Nations in 2008, which is interesting. I see in different parts of the world, and I've got to say that the people were absolutely lovely. Like, as a driver at the time, so I was driving all over the place, and that was interesting because you got to see a lot more of the country. But also when you stopped and things like that, you'd be able to chat with the local people. It's just a shame how everything's worked out for some parts of the world. It really is. Because the people there in Cyprus too, you've obviously got you had the big war go on there. And everyone there was just really, really pleasant and nice. And in Iraq as well, you got the same thing. You got really nice people who are just trying to go about their daily lives, and as everyone here is, and everyone around the world is just trying to live a normal life and get by. So it was interesting seeing different parts of the world and how it is, and meeting different people from all over the place and working with different people from countries all around the world. But it is always a bit sad to see the struggles that people go for and things like that. It's friendly in the way that you only get it if you know the law and are old enough to get it. Nathaniel, that is the nail on the head. That is the nail on the head. Go on then, Slaughter, give us the joke. But it is, you think about like all the stuff that goes on in the world and all the people who are kicking off and fighting, and all the leaders giving it the bifters, while to other countries and saying, if you do this, we'll do this, and goading each other. And you just think, man, 90% of the people don't care and just want to get on with life while they're all there. Trying to big up themselves and throw the weight around. Sad, really. Oh wow. I know quite a few people who were deployed over there. Hope it wasn't too bad a time for you. I know I know some pals who went to there in Iraq at different times and deployed with different people and stuff like that, who had good times and bad times, so I hope it wasn't too bad for you. Why were Euphrates and Axelman absent from the festive? Euphrates was Euphrates Keeler, wasn't it? Go on, I don't know. Why was Euphrates and Axelman absent from the festivities? Damn you, Slaughter. I like that. That made me laugh more than it should. No, I'm sorry to hear that, Nathaniel. And I hope that you got any support that you needed for it. Because I know some people who were in a similar boat and how it affected them, so I hope that you did get the support if you needed any. I was incredibly lucky on mine because nothing really happened. So do you reckon Warboss Green will be a nice highlight colour, final highlight for the skin on this Squigosaur? Looking down on the top, there's some really bad paint in there. That's tickled me, that. Feeling a little horse. Uncle deployed to Cyprus after the war. Uncle's in the Paris. Good, man. Thank them for me too. It was a strange one, Cyprus. Never really known that much had gone on until we went there, because I don't know. Always think of it as like a holiday destination and things like that, and then when you read up on everything that went on there, it's quite intense. I was also surprised by the amount of people who'd been there as well. We were, I think, with Argentine, Hungarian, I can't remember if it was Romania. I know there's 3 other nations with us doing different things there, but really interesting country, really nice country. And exceptional food too. Really enjoyed the food there. There was an awesome little restaurant we used to go to, which is just off Ledger Street. You go down some little back alley. Oh, sorry about that. Go down some little back alley, and there was this little tiny restaurant, and it just looked like 2 little windows on the front, and then it had like little bird cages or something like that, I think it was, on the, like, stood outside. And he did such nice food in there. I am all about the food. I can usually remember places by the food and where the food places were. Mike Finley, thanks for coming by. Good to see you. And welcome to the Discord too. Hopefully see you on there too. So I don't know if anyone else is around any other time during the week, but I'm probably, this week, rather than recording videos during the week, I'm probably going to be streaming instead, because I need to finish these off for the weekend. So I am trying to hammer out as much paint work on these guys as I can do before the battle. A bit of a pain that I bought all the stuff that I needed for the floors, because I thought I'd try something a bit funky, and got these orcs on the Squigosaurs, and the Squighouse boys had resisted them for ages. Like, I didn't, part of me was saying don't bother getting them, just get stick with the ones that you got. And then I thought, you know, nice looking miniatures. I've never painted anything like this before, so I'll get some of these and just run a completely fun list of like dinosaurs and the vehicles that I'll be doing for it. Training park done. So far I like this, which I'm doing like the Jurassic Park Jeep, and that's going to be the Jurassic Park logo, so that's going to be in black with the red ring around it and then a yellow ring around the outside of that. Oh, excuse me. Then obviously you got the stripes going on the front, you got the little badge on this part too, you got the badge on the back here, and then be doing the yellow wheels, getting the tyres done and that kind of stuff. All of these were done with contrast paints as well. If I'd have thought of that, I could have said that earlier when Finley was here, but all of these done with contrast paints. I'm just going to do a little quick highlight on them, whether this part, build up the colours again so it's really quite bright and vivid, and then whether all the metallics on it. But there's 3 of those. We have a small force of Squig Hog Boys and the Squigosaur to lead them all to war. Thank you very much. Cheers, Nathaniel. But yeah, I'm going Team Green for the weekend. My pal Chris, who is my partner in the tournament, they had a thing where you couldn't have any matching keywords, so he's going salamanders, I'm going orcs. So we're sticking with the green motif. A flatter cut on the paperclip. Yeah, it's nice. That's what I use, paper clips. This is what all the paper clips in the loft look like, because I always cut parts off to pin things. If it's a metal model or anything like that, which brush was I using? If it's a metal model and you have to pin it, I always use paper clips. And I think that's mainly because the brass rod that I've got, the drill bits that I used to use for that, I've snapped every single one of them, so I now only have the wider drill bits and they fit the paper clips quite nicely. I have the old flock mats from way back when, like the big fold out ones that they used to put on tables. Hey Zachary, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I used to play on flock mats with my mates. My mate Clive, when I was growing up, he had a massive Dark Angel army, and I used to think that I had loads. Like, I used to have a little company of Space Marines, and it was made up from like the scouts from Advanced Space Crusade. We had the normal fellas from Space Crusade, and I think it was Dreadnought Assault, one of the add-on packs for it. I had them, and then I had the 30 Beakies from that box set. And I used to think I had quite a lot, and then I went round to my mate Clive's, and he had half a company of Terminators, and he had all kinds. It was unbelievable. Like, mine were all from like the box game, so he had like Advanced Space Crusade, Space Hulk, all that kind of thing. And he just had billions of these fellas with the Cyclone missile launchers and all kinds on it. And he used to have those flock mats. Oh, like, no, I don't have any of that. What I use now is that kind of thing, astrogranite debris. I did have some of that flock stuff if you look on Instagram every now and again, one of the guys, Adam, he does a lot of historicals. He paints up and he paints all his stuff with that kind of flock and the static grass and things like that. He uses really old school base and stuff, but he makes it look really, really good. So I gave him all my stuff because I tried to use the static grass and just made a mess on some of my bases. So, as I often do, join, I decided that I'd pass it on to someone who knows what they're doing and use the easier basing technique of texture and then the little grass tufts, like, I don't know where they are, this kind of thing. But then I've got all different kinds, and like, love adding flowers to stuff as well. It just spruces up those bases, so depending on which force it is, depends on what kind of grass you use and things like that. For 40k it's usually the Astrogranite Debris base with a few different shades on, and then I'll stick a little bit of grass or some detailing depending on what the force is. So the Sisters of Battle, because a lot of them have like the rose petals, like the Triumph of St. Catherine and stuff like that. So I use a sort of deepish purple colour of the like little plant things, the little flowers, and then a certain kind of grass on those. Whereas like on the Nighthaunt, because a lot of them have roses too, so I do the roses on there a bit more purple and pink, so they have slightly lighter coloured roses on their bases. I'll try and keep a bit of a theme for the armies, but we did used to have the goblin green around the outside of the bases. And the painting the top of the bases with goblin green, or just sticking little bits on and then painting it goblin green as well. Is anyone working on anything interesting this evening? We've got Thurston's working on that rather nice bike, which is cool. Couple of days to the new chair mat. Back, neck and arms are screaming because they've got no support. And I'm stuck with the dining chair till the mat's down. That's no good. Hope you get it set up as soon as you can, man. Know the... Hey there, Underdog. Good to see you. Even with the back support and stuff like that, I am still slouched over, as you can tell, because I have the worst posture in the world. And nothing shows more than that than one of the wedding pics, which makes me look like my back's Mr. Burns' back. It is well and truly hunched. It's probably from sitting like I am doing now, painting all the time. How's Tricks, Bazza? Underdog Paint News just comes on. There's a nice YouTube channel painting up a variety of different miniatures. So if you're not already, go and give them a follow. we spread the hobby love. We'll link up everyone's channels and Instagrams as always at the bottom, so if you've got any links to anything, you can either stick them all onto Discord. I know some of you have done already, that's cool, or you can send them to me on Instagram or whatever. I'll stick them in the link below. See if we can get some more follows going for people. Oh, no way. Contrary to the ball, it takes more than 2 minutes. Drives me mad when stuff takes longer than it says. I have a thing of, I tend to mentally prepare myself for things, so work out in my head how long stuff's going to take. Invariably it takes different times to what I actually think it will do. And then it'll drive me mad for the whole time after that. Nothing worse than me trying to work out how long something will take. So I'll say, like, I'm going somewhere and I'll say I'll be there by a certain time, and invariably won't take into account how lethargic and sluggish I can be sometimes getting ready, or all the things that might take a bit of extra time, like making sure everyone's sorted before I leave, or, you know, general day-to-day life things. And primer's not drying, or paint's not drying, and airbrushes needing cleaning. They really are some of the things that used to drive me nuts. They still do. Hey Daniel, good to see you. Stormcast Eternals, Evocators, and Celestial Jack-o'-lantern. Oh, they're nice miniatures then. Do you know, I got the Mortal Realms stuff with all the Stormcast in, and I already had quite a big Stormcast force. I mainly wanted the Nighthaunt from it, but because of the way it is, sort of like, it seems to be incredibly hard to get certain miniatures or issues of the magazine. So I just subscribed and got the whole thing, and it got to the end and I had too many Stormcast to even fit in the drawers where I keep my miniatures. I know it's a first world problem, like, but I end up getting rid of my Stormcast completely after that. And I saw that they were doing another Mortal Realms type magazine with Stormcast on, and I was sitting there thinking, do I want to get them? Because the new Stormcast miniatures, which all look stunning as well, so I haven't signed up to that though. I've just got the Imperium on the go. Don't know if anyone else is a fan of the Stranglers. I saw on their Instagram earlier on, or it might have been yesterday, the bass player JJ's 70th birthday, which I always find startling. And my dad used to say years ago, you get to a point in life where you suddenly realise that all the people that you think, wow, they're dead good and dead cool, are suddenly very, very old. And it's starting to get to that point. You got the likes of Arnie, who I think is ace. Got all his films on DVD, and I've had them all on DVD for donkey's years. And he's getting on a bit now. Same with like Stallone and all the other 80s action heroes. Because I'm a massive fan of all those old 80s action hero films. They always get panned now when you release something like the Expendables and things like that, because they're very little plot. Really, it's just there's a bad guy, something's happened, and they have to go and get him. But I absolutely love that kind of film. You don't have to think about anything, or you don't have to work things out. It's just, it is what it is. and all those actiony people. Dolph Lundgren, Wesley Snipes, and all the cool guys who we used to watch years ago. We're all a little bit older than expected. Hope you can see the highlights on that. I'm really pleased with that. The highlights on that skin are going, but they don't seem to show up very well. If we can turn this down, maybe it'll... Can you see those highlights? Not very well. It seems to wash them out a bit. Quite pleased with how that's looking though. So far so good. On the bright side, sub-assembling my contenter has taught me the value of filing, scraping the smoother over every little possible tiny seam and gap. A salt cannon looks seamless. The bigger the model, the painful process. Wise words there, very wise words. That's the thing that I sometimes struggle with. You'll see there's quite a few comments sometimes about the tiny cat hair on the brush there. You'll see comments on some of the videos about mould lines and things like that, because hobby time tends to be quite limited sometimes. I don't probably spend enough time scraping off the mould lines as I should do, which has been something I've done for donkey's years, and my pals have ripped me for it for donkey's years. But you take the time to take them off and it looks a whole lot better. It really does. But I am possibly slightly lazy in that regard. Hey Twilight Zone, welcome aboard, good to see you live too. One thing about these orc rules, I'm sure it was saying somewhere in the law for the squig hog boys and all the beast snaggers, saying that they like to stay mobile and they're always roaming around and stuff like that. He said even like fitting bionics when they're on the move and stuff, and I just one bit of law that I couldn't get my head around, because I'm thinking, how's he running along if they're changing his leg? Pretty sure it doesn't mean this guy or any of the other ones where you've taken off the back legs and fitted them with like the motorbike wheel and stuff like that, but just the wording of it made me giggle. Imagine it trying to hop along while someone's fitting the bionic leg to it and fitting the engine inside. Cheers Twilight Zone. Well happy with how it's turned out so far. There's plenty of time to ruin it yet though. So does anyone do any gaming, like PC gaming or Xbox gaming, anything good or interesting that you're playing at the moment? Currently working through Breakpoint with my brother, one of our buddies from Germany. Torque logic is great. Red, fast. If there's a wire on it, it can run. I love all that stuff about the Orc lore where it's saying about like no one can understand how their weapons work, but they think it's because they believe they work, so they do. There's just something about that I think is absolutely superb. World of Warcraft. Oh, I haven't played that for years. I keep getting the urge to play it, but I know that every time I do, I'll get sucked in and won't have the time to do anything else. Off for now. Need to get up at 5. No worries. Thanks for joining us, Thorsten. Really nice to see you again. Good to see you on the Discord too. Thanks for joining. Just in case you're not on the Discord already and anyone wants to join it, that's the link for the Discord. You can post up your pictures and we can all chat about what we're working on and show pictures of them finished and whatnot. Or share pictures of your cats, because there's a section for pets or food. It's pretty much a Discord of anything and everything at the moment, which is cool. Do try and keep it family friendly or what have you. You know, the odd thing's not too bad, but just in case there are any younger folk about. Cheers, Twilight Zone. This is a Unknown Army painter brush. It's the Wargamer character brush. I really like using this for doing fairly small stuff. And then the Insane Detail brush, which is this one. Let's have a look at the nib on this so you can compare it. Subtle difference. At the moment I have been using this one, which I think was slightly bigger. You can tell because it's a little bit wider there. So I'm probably going to go on to the Insane Detail one. Oh, the Death Guard. Oh dear, the Death Guard. There's so many Death Guards to paint. They really were one of the... Like, the Orcs sucked me in years ago and made me go, I really want to paint loads of Orcs, because they're just so much fun. And there's that sort of like... Although there's that serious, horrible beast that want to wreck everything and just fight all the time, there's also that kind of comical look to them where you can... They've got the beliefs and all that kind of thing, and there is just something very, very fun about them. And then they released the Death Guard, and prior to that, where they just had the old Marines, where they had like the extra torsos, or they had the metal ones, and they just looked like they were a bit bloated and not that much different from normal Marines. Just they had that extra kind of plate on the chest armor and the stomach armor and stuff like that. I just really didn't like the look of them. And then they released 8th edition, the box, which I can't remember the name of, and I just fell in love with the Death Guard miniatures, and I bought pretty much one of everything that they had, because I just thought they were stunning. So I've got, you know, a force that I can put together depending on what I need to use them for. So I've got like close combat fellas who are absolutely tough as old boots. I've got the squads of 7 and things like that, but they take so long to paint. But they are great. I hope one day you get through all your Death Guard though, Thorsten. One day, one day. Seems very precise also, the black one. This one? Do you mean? This one seems very precise. This is the one that I've been using in a lot of the more recent videos to do all the little details and stuff like that. It's a very, very good brush. Maybe slightly thicker. But it is very, very good. How do you use the mag? Do you rate it? What's a mag? Sorry, just... I don't know if that's an abbreviation or a slang term for it. So just let me know what a mag is, because I don't know. Oh, magnifier. No, I don't. This here is my this is my phone. This is giving you this camera view here. It's I don't need to use one at the moment, but I might do in the next sort of like maybe next 5 years. I'll probably need to use one, I reckon. Thinking of getting one of those little visor things, you know, with the LED light where you get the goggly bits and then the lights above it. Sometimes, because like if I'm sitting downstairs watching TV, the light's not very good in the living room, so I can just take that down and watch TV while I'm wearing that. That'll give me the light that I need to paint. Whenever you see the videos and stuff like that, this is really similar to how I have the setup when I'm doing the videos, but I'll have the light a little bit further down, like so it's that little bit brighter. But obviously this part, when we're streaming, is a little bit annoying. Yeah, there's a it's me uncle-in-law. Is if you're on Facebook, he's DW Artist Painting, I think it is. And if anyone's got really old White Dwarf magazines, if you've got issue 140, it's got his Golden Demon entry that won. It was the a red Blood Angels Rhino with two dudes sat in the back. I think one of them's reloading, the other one's like, I can't remember what he's doing, he's sort of like poking out the top, I think it is, having a look about or something. But he is such a good painter, and he uses one of those magnifiers with the lights on. He does loads and loads of like camouflage type stuff now. He doesn't do too much Games Workshop stuff. He does get some of the kits so he can do the interiors of vehicles and things like that, because he's big on doing sort of like, you know, the larger models where they're like maybe kind of like mech suits or something like that. I'm not too sure what series of miniatures they are or anything like that, but he does a lot of great things where you'll have like a pilot and then like a suit opened up, so it's sort of got like the front's opened up on it, and it's got like all the computer screens and things that he's used from different stuff. Yeah, he is. He's my uncle-in-law, yeah. Such a lovely fella as well. Really nice guy. But if you see in if you see him on Facebook, his little group there, he does all the like military type stuff, different things. He's been working on a lot of the Colonial Marines, like the newest figures and that, and his camouflage and the smoothness of his painting and things like that. Oh, absolutely stunning. He's got so much skill, that man. And the sad thing is that the gutting thing is that one of the things that really got me into Warhammer and rhinos and all the different things like that was that picture of the Blood Angels Rhino that was opened up, that he got the Golden Demon for. I was saying to him a while ago, like, oh, have you still got that? And he go, yeah, I've got it round here somewhere. And he went, oh yeah, it's over here. And it was got one of those like little airbrush box things, you know, that sucks all the fumes out the back and all that kind of thing. And it's just sat in there, and he's like, yeah, I use it to test the airbrush colours and things like that. And I'm like, oh man, it's like one of the things that made me want to do loads of conversions and like change things up a lot. And he just use it to test paint on now. It's like, I would have put that in a cabinet and kept it forever. Oh yeah, he does. It's totally agree with you there. It's a lovely looking style. It's just, I don't know how he manages to do it, but it's very, very crisp. It's like your own painting opponent theory. It's very, very, very crisp. Two different styles, but absolutely stunning. Opponent theory is here. If you follow him on Instagram, you'll see some incredible painting. Absolutely incredible painting. Gazgul Thraka, he's already painted, but the details, gosh, I hate him. I've got Gazgul on a shelf over there, sprayed him silver when I got him, I've still not done anything to him. He's just waiting for it. Nathaniel says, I used a lot of watercolour brushes by Da Vinci, affordable, and they hold a very good tip. Ah, not seen them, are they just standard brush, are they? There you go. Well, they do look like nice brushes. What kind of sizes do you use, Nathaniel, for your brushes? It's funny, if the base of my dread there's enough free space at the front for the fallen body of space will. A perfect coincidence. Why you? I got White Dwarf 94, March, April, awesome stuff there. Walks back there, so cool. Yeah, they were great. I've got a couple knocking about somewhere that I need to, in fact they're downstairs being stripped, that I need to post off to one of my pals in the States who loves orcs, but she hasn't been collecting them as long, so I was going to send over a couple of the older ones. I think somewhere I've got the original Death Skull War Boss from way back when. I'm not too sure where he's gone. Can't remember his name for the life of me, but he's going to go in with Death Skull's army at some point. And he's also going to have stripy trousers, because every orc deserves stripy trousers. You know what, just bear with me 1 second. Speaking of Gazgul, so we've got the big man here. You might recognise that piping from one of the stripy tubing videos I did a while ago, so I have started them, didn't realise that. We've got that, and when you compare him to the size of this fella, he's huge. I'm going to have to come back to this. 300234 currently, but I have more sizes. Da Vinci 1522. Let me just write that down. Mega, thank you very much, Nathaniel. I'll give them a crack. We've got loads of brushes up there. What I'm tempted to do is do a bit of a video about different paintbrushes and things like that, because I've always used the same brushes since the dawn of time. Let's see if we can get a bit more. Gazgul is a big boy for an orc when you look at him against your standard squig-hog boy, or even this is like one of the knobs on a squig-hog. It's really only this guy who is comparable in size, but even then he doesn't seem to have the mass or the bulk of Gazgul. And this is just an absolutely incredible miniature. So you want to paint him up, and I'm tempted to do a video for him. However, because I collect death skulls, I don't really want to paint him up as a goth and do him in black. So what I'm tempted to do is maybe just do him in blue, and then the areas that will be blue, like his armour and things like that, just link up the painting black tutorial for there, because I really want to get him painted, because that is a great miniature. It seems a shame to just have it waiting around. Got so many details on the base as well, like bits of bone, and got loads of shells from bolters, skulls. There's a Space Marine helm just beneath his feet there, which I made really difficult to paint because I've glued them down. But look at that, little skulls everywhere. The big one at the back for his exhausts. It's just an absolutely outstanding miniature. But also, I've got this guy to paint as well. Now, there is stuff that goes on here. It's not just the little handle. I've actually got the rest of that goes with it. It's just that I wanted to paint some parts of it separately. Like we've got the mouth, and there's the other gap that does innards, and then you get another arm where it's got faces and things like that, and there's so many parts to it. But if anyone would like to see the video of him getting painted up, it's probably going to have to be several pieces, like maybe doing the skin, or doing the weapon, or doing all these parts and things like that, because it will take quite some time. But if you'd like to see this hideous fella being painted up, sing out, because he is absolutely foul. So remember, when you're doing your lateral flow tests as well, you want to be rubbing on this part here for so many seconds, this part here, and then wang it up your nose and go around each nostril. The detailing in that is wicked. I'm pretty sure somewhere we have all the other parts, like this for one of his arms, which I've stuck on the end of a paintbrush, so that I can paint that separately as well, because I just absolutely love that face that's coming through on his wrist. You've got all those tentacles coming out of it. And you got the bell that you can have instead of that. And the other head as well, which is absolutely horrific. Looks like something off Evil Dead to me. He's got all those maggots and all the juice and stuff coming out of his mouth. Looking absolutely horrific. What else have we got? Oh, we got another head as well. Such a good kit. I can't even find the rest of his weapon. It's somewhere in this drawer. There we go. Is it that one? I don't think it's that one. I've no idea. There's all kinds of bits for him anyway. Some sort of flail. A dagger. And there you go. There's a little bag with, you can either put the innards in, this bit here, or you can make it into a mouth, like so. Then you've got all these little dudes, the Nurglings, that you can stick around him, like holding onto his bits of skin and stuff like that that are falling off. And you did get, I think, this guy was in it as well. I'm doing a little setup with him because I thought he looked boss. So that's still a work in progress too. But yeah, lovely. I really like that miniature. I just haven't started them yet. And if you're interested, there's a picture on Instagram of how many Primaris Marines you can fit inside there when they're fully built, and it's 7. Lucky number 7. Tested brushes from different model painting manufacturers. Revel, Warmaster, Army Painter, Robolith was converted to artist brushes by a friend. All right, cool. Do you think they work just as well? Convert his head into a Janus type head, face in every direction. That'd be ace. Be like the Quintessence from Transformers. Yeah, it's a superb miniature, like, or not so miniature, depending on how you look at it. But I really do want to paint all the parts of it, but I just know that it's going to be just make you feel sick by moving that around there. I just know it's going to take quite a bit of time to get it all painted up. And one thing I've found is that if you do if I do a video where it's sort of like, you know, a multi-part one, it doesn't seem to fare quite as well as if it's all in one part, so I'm not too sure how to approach it. Maybe just do the big fella in one go and do a little short video for like the face on the arm and a short video for some of the weapons and stuff like that, because there's so many options and they all look grotesque. I like that face in every direction though. Oh wow, cool. They work even better, the bristles aren't so stiff as with the other brands. I'm going to have to order a pack of Da Vinci then. Luckily it's payday coming up, so I can grab one of them. Pretend you haven't just seen that little bit of green go on his tooth. No. Right, where's my Harrowberg Crimson? And where is... Does anyone else hate it when the lids just fold down like that all the time when you're just trying to use a little bit of shade? You open it up, give it a second or two, and it just flings close. Make a light. Oh, there we go. I usually keep the little plastic covers off the end of the brushes so you can jam one in the back of it. But I can't find the one that you usually use. You know what? While that's open, we'll add that to all the little cuts and nicks in his back. Any more for any more? Are you two, Opponent Theory? Thanks for popping by. Hope it's a pleasant walk. Hey James, good to see you. Oh, thanks very much. It's really happy with how it's turned out so far. See if we can get that zoomed in again, because it seems to have gone out of focus. There we go. Slowly but surely, been painting it for ages now, but it's going quite well. Drives me nuts too, Twilight Zone, it really does. It's been the cause of me spilling shades before today when I've gone to try and stop it shutting quickly and just knocked the thing over and spilt it all over the show. Has anyone used the Games Workshop synthetic brushes yet? Now they've been out quite a while. I've got a set of 3 of them there that I've still not used. I think that skin looks done. I think it might be. Just a little bit on this hip maybe. Oh, another cut there as well. No worries, Twilight Zone. Good to see you. Thanks for coming along for so long. Do appreciate you all coming along to spend a bit of time hobbying. Slaughter, what do you think of the synthetic brushes? Are they good? Ah, Nathaniel brought a pot of Agrax Earthshade, spilt it 5 minutes after opening. I know that feeling well. There's a picture somewhere on Instagram of a similar incident I had. I wasn't very pleased about it. Not only do you end up losing some, even if you try and spoon it back into the pot quickly, you end up losing some. It just makes such a mess, and you have to clean that up and spend time doing that rather than spending time painting. Very, very disappointing. We're coming up to 2 hours now, so I reckon about another, give it a 2 hours 5 minutes, about another 6.5 minutes or so, and then we'll probably call it a night because I'm up for work in the morning, unfortunately. I expect I'm going to be absolutely chocker tomorrow. So I'm not looking forward to that, but needs must. How much of the Agrax Earthshade did you lose, Nathaniel? Was it a painfully large amount, or was it not too bad? Use a small layer brush. This is about the synthetic brushes from Slaughter. I used a small layer brush for highlights on my Rhino. Definitely kept a good shape for a smooth drag of the brush and no funny business from the bristles. Seems to be good for tight jobs where you don't want anything sticking out. Oh, wicked. I'll have to give them a try, definitely then. Bought a set of 3 when he came out with the intention of doing a bit of a video on what I thought of them, but I like painting. I do. Oh, half the bottle. I feel your pain. Oh man. It is one of the most horrible hobby things that I think that, and when you have your super glue, which ends up like this one, Oh yeah, if you can even get the lid off because it started to do it again. So look at the cap of that. It should be about an extra 5mm longer, so it should be about here. But it keeps blocking, and as you can tell, it's well and truly blocked, I think. Yep, nothing coming out of that. So every time I need to use it, I have to use my pin vise, drill down into the bottle to get that working again, which is quite frustrating. But that is, I find, as annoying as spilling the shades all over the desk as well. Ah man, I feel your pain with that. It's a horrible thing, all the clean up, the waste of the stuff. Right, we are going to use a little bit of iron hand steel here. I'll stab myself in the tongue with a paintbrush, which is another problem. Now, these two ever so slightly different, just slightly lighter I think this one, but I do quite like, I use them kind of interchangeably to be honest, because there's not that much difference in it for my eyes when I look at them painted on a miniature. But now it seems that that one is ever so slightly lighter, but it's a good colour. I like these staples that they just seem to put in things. There's loads on this guy. Some on his head as well that I need to paint up. Just here. There's some more over here as well. Any more for any more? Right, okay, so that looks like all of those parts done. I'm going to use one of my favourite things in the world. This, if you haven't got any of this, I think it's amazing stuff. Because what you can do is just a tiny little drop your paint pot, that's it there, next to the iron hand steel. And for where you've got like wounds like this, or you can see them on the orc here, you can see this kind of pinkish bit that I've done around where all the wounds are. You can just use a brush to paint that on. You'll probably see me doing this on videos, like Death Guard and things like that, or zombies or whatever. You can just paint around that and it gives you that nice pinkish kind of colour that you get where it's looking a little bit tender, a little bit delicate. I mean, that's not even a sealed wound there, so there's probably going to be doing a little bit of blood for the blood god on that, I reckon. This looks like there's a little wire or something going in. Cat hair on the brush there, just to eat that, which probably isn't very healthy. Yeah, I have to keep snipping away at the dry glue to get the super glue flowing. Actually, it's getting glue on my finger. That's why I funnel the rest into a dropper bottle, less prone to spilling. They really are. Dropper bottles are absolutely stunning. The day that Games Workshop goes to dropper bottles is the day I'm a very, very happy man. But yeah, this Vallejo Red Wash I absolutely love it. Really, really love it. You can also do like scarring, depending on what scarring. So you've got this scar here. Oh no, look at that. Managed to do a really nice bit of brush splatting on there by the look of it. So let's try and dull that down again. I reckon that's probably worth trying a bit of Gorgon to fair or something like that, is it? Dark oak flesh maybe? We'll try a little bit dark oak flesh, see if we can do that. But what you can do is you can get a nice little bit of going quiet while I concentrate. It's the equivalent of putting your tongue out while you're thinking. So we are. He's got a little scar here. So what I like to do as well is, if you look at my thumb there, you can see a scar on there, and where you've got that lighter coloured scar tissue going across there, you've also got the pinker bit going across there. So what I like to do with this Vallejo Red Wash is go along the edges of the scars, so you can leave that kind of lighter skin colour showing while you get that kind of pinkish bit going through. And that side's still drying, but I can still do this side here, like so. I was going to paint this scar here, but that's actually just a really bad join that I haven't filed down, so we'll just ignore that and pretend we haven't seen it. But anything like that, I really, really rate that. So give that a crack. Yeah, it is. It's a crazy thing for airbrush paint in pots. I'll never get my head around that either. It just seems to, I don't know, doesn't make any sense. You want to be able to drop a few little spots of it into the little paint pot, don't you? You don't want to have to try and tip it up or get a pipette or something like that to get the paint out. If there's one thing I will say for it, is that they need to use dropper bottles on the paints. They've got some lovely paints now. I really do like the Citadel range. Still use other paints from Vallejo and stuff like that. I love the Vallejo white and the Vallejo black. I love the Vallejo black because it's just so matte. It really does give it a really, really nice dull finish. Righty, I'm going to finish off round this mouth and call it a night, I reckon. It's been absolutely awesome sitting here chatting with you all, so thank you very much for joining. Really do appreciate it. It's nice to have the company while hobbying, and also it's nice to chat about hobby stuff and just chat about things in general, because it's something that you don't tend to get to do when I'm doing the videos or even in the comments section, really. So thank you all for joining, really do appreciate it. I'll sling up the Discord link in a moment too, just in case anyone wants to join the Discord. If you want to share any links, if you're on Instagram or you're doing your own YouTube channel or you're on Twitch or anything like that, sling up your details in the links below, or in links below, in the comments below this video. It should be, would have thought it'd be up, I don't know, how long does it take? I don't think I've ever actually looked, maybe straight away, maybe a little bit later. But stick your details in the comments there, your Instagram handles or your YouTube links or what have you, and I shall stick them all into the body of the video. See if we can get some follows going in different places. Paint flamer, is that the, was that the little weird airbrush thing that they had, like cans of aerosol or something like that? Time for a shift at that photography job of yours. Wish it was photography it did. Righty. And I'm calling that a night. I'll post up some of these to Instagram, I reckon, to show where it's up to with a bit of better light and a little bit crisper. Gonna have to do something with the inside of that mouth, because you can see on its tongue there it's still got the undercoat on. Would have missed it with the contrast, because the rest of that mouth is just contrasted over the black. But cool, thanks very much for you all to join us, and I'll probably be back on again, I reckon maybe Wednesday and possibly Thursday as well, because as I say, I need to get this guy and all my Squig Hog boys and some bikers and some Squig wagons painted up for Sunday. So if you think I can do that, you've got more faith in me than I have. But if you want to see me paint them, I'll be back on again this week for a bit more live streaming. But cool, thanks very much for all joining us. I shall see you very, very soon.